Welcome back to In Pursuit of Truth. This is your host, Sir Patrick Mack. We have only 2 Q posts for you today, and I'm going to get right in them as there's not a whole lot of links and research to do here. Let's just get straight to the analysis. We're going to start you here. Post 1339, 12 minutes after the hour of 12 p.m. Q is asking us to expand our thinking. So, why don't we begin by taking a nice deep breath. Do you feel more expansive? Me too. Why are we being attacked? I guess because we're under attack. Why are we being attacked by people who claim to be pro-POTUS? Okay. Well, there are people that claim to be pro-POTUS, but they're really anti-POTUS. And then, of course, there's people who outright are anti-Q and anti-POTUS. And I suppose there's a lot of people who are anti-Q but pro-POTUS. And, of course, there's a lot of us who are probably a little bit pro-Q and pro-POTUS. Now, Q is pro-POTUS, and I would assume that's reciprocal, so possibly POTUS is pro-Q. We don't know. But there's a lot of people who are anti-Q and anti-POTUS, and they might be anti-U, but I don't know that either. But there's a lot of people that are attacking Q, yeah? And they claim to be pro-POTUS, and maybe they are. Maybe they are. But some of them might not be. Seems like Q might be implying that. Then Q says, do we have a face? Well, we haven't seen them. Do we have a name? Yep. Q. It's so easy. I can write it, I can read it, I can spell it, I can pronounce it, thank God. Do we use platforms whereby we collect followers? Well, you use 8chan, and 8chan has a lot of users, but those users do follow you. The platform itself, you don't collect followers. But those people from 8chan oftentimes translate that into other channels, such as myself and others, that do collect followers. I guess you could call them followers. I prefer to call them viewers. But I think we get the point. Q's not using a platform that actually collects followers. Why? Because there's selfless, zero vanity. Okay, a little vanity Q is okay. All right, comb your hair, brush your teeth, put on a clean shirt, show up to work. Why are we here? Well, you're here to ask questions. Why do we ask questions? Because that's why you're here. I don't know what you guys think. It seems to me that Q wouldn't have been as effective if they didn't start being off by being so cryptic. And if you've noticed over the time now, Q has gotten less and less cryptic, and I think that's because we've exposed a lot more. And also too, I think Q also realized that some people don't have constant patience for code breaking and all that stuff all the time. I'm not great with it either. But I think the point is that if Q weren't asking questions, they'd be making statements, and those statements would probably be discredited, or maybe not even noticed. But I don't think the effort would have been put into sourcing our own information. And if you ask me, I think that's one of the greatest things that's come out of this Great Awakening movement. The choice has always been yours. Q's not wrong. You can choose to be happy. You can choose to be sad. You can choose to click like. You can choose to click unlike. You can choose to follow. You can choose to lead. You can choose to get out of the way. You can choose to care or not to care. You can choose to love. You can choose to hate. You can choose whatever you want. And Q's asking us to just use logic. Free information. Well, free information is not always free. A lot of people doctoring that information. And these days, information, it's making it harder and harder for us to use logic because there's a lot of disinformation out there too. But at the same time, if we're encouraging free speech, there's a lot of people that are able to say whatever they want and create a lot of disinformation. There's a lot of gray area in there, right? But I guess we got to choose whatever it is that we want. For me, I'd rather deal with a lot of disinformation and be able to sift through it and let people say what they want. You tell me what you think, I guess. What draws people here? Well, I guess the free information. We're sure not getting it on the MSM, are we? They're not giving us much information at all. I don't even know I don't think my TV even works. I don't know what you think. What's on TV? Stormy Daniels? Is that what you want to talk about? Whatever. Whatever you want. But the information's free here. And however you choose to feel about it is your choice as well, too. What an amazing thing. What an amazing time to be alive. What draws people here? The free information. And the exchange of it. Ladies and gentlemen, I am not placating you when I tell you that I really, really, truly enjoy, and I have to say particularly, not just the way you respond to my information and add on to it and embellish it and take me in new journeys that oftentimes fuels information from my next video. But more importantly, I've really enjoyed watching the way that you support each other when, people who are maybe newer to Q have questions, and there are other people that jump onto it before I can maybe provide an answer. And it's been incredible, really. You're all to be commended. And I know you don't do it just on my channel. You go around and do it on other channels. What an amazing time to be alive, folks. Because the news isn't giving us this. We're going to have to figure it out ourselves, and we are. We are. Expanding exponentially. It's growing and growing. Some people probably don't like that. That's a lot of free thought going on. They all claim to be insiders. They all claim to have insider contacts. When we know that Q said no outside comms. Q is saying they do not. And we know who Q's talking about. I don't want to bring up names if I don't have to. Okay? But we've had some people claim to be insiders. Claiming to have contacts. I don't know. I don't have any contacts. Do you have contacts? I don't have any contacts. I have contacts, but they're not insider contacts. But I got contacts. Everybody's got contacts. Patriots do not reveal classified information. Well, I'd say as a general rule, that's probably a pretty good idea. Okay, classified information, not supposed to do that. We didn't have Patriots just revealing classified information. They were selling it. Still are. People are still selling information right now. That's not patriotic. Why do we communicate this way? Well, for the same reason. Because Patriots do not reveal classified information, but they can ask questions and provide free information, open source information that we can all find, and we can all kind of come to a consensus about what we want to do about it. And then maybe whether we affect legislation or whether we act in different ways by the way we spend our money or whatever we do, it's our choice. And that's a beautiful thing. Think for yourself. Good idea. Good idea. It's not always easy. A lot of information to sift these days, and news is coming fast, isn't it, folks? News is coming a mile a minute. Clickbait. Yeah, I don't love clickbait. I try to keep my titles just kind of normal, just so you can find the date. I know, at least for myself. I don't know how other people kind of choose their titles and stuff like that, but, a lot of people love to embellish titles and say things that might not be true for the sake of getting some views. And, I suppose they're free to do that, right? That's that double-edged sword I was talking about. But, I guess always ask yourself when you're providing information or when you're offering up information, how is this helpful? Q says, we are a threat to profiteering. Well, profit is okay. Profiteering kind of suggests to me that you're profiting off of other people's misfortune. Now, I don't know the exact definition of profiteering, and excuse me, I don't have any links up, so I'm not looking it up, but I think the point is that if you're making money off of a movement and you're not really supporting the movement and you're just kind of supporting your furthering your personal gain, I guess that's not cool, right? Information should flow freely without cost. Yeah. Information should flow freely. It doesn't. We've seen over hundreds of years, folks, burning of books, removing of books, burning of libraries, data getting burnt, data getting collected, data getting manipulated. That's not flowing freely without cost. And there's some people that want to disseminate this information that Q's providing and charge for it. And there's all kinds of levels to that, folks. I'm not talking about every channel that's, asking maybe for whatever, it's Patreon or donations or whatever. Look, a lot of young people, a lot of older people, whatever. All kinds of people are making these, not just Q channels, but all kinds of channels. And look, if they need a little help because they're busting their ass and you want to support them, I don't think Q's talking about that. I think Q's talking more about the, profiteering off the movement itself rather than contributing to the movement. Bobbleheads. We don't know Q bobbleheads and Q bubblegum and Q umbrellas. I don't know if they got Q umbrellas, but I would make Q umbrellas because it's got the little hook. So we established a series of proofs for this specific reason. Undeniable, unpredictable. Yeah, look, if you've been following Q long enough, you've seen enough proof. And for those of you who don't trust Q, that's fine. But just back off and let those that do follow the channel. Go find out your own truth. It's okay. No one's stopping you. No one should. I might be following your channel too. But Q has shown me enough and compelled me enough to where I've spent most of the time on my own channel following it. And it seems to me that a lot of you guys are interested too. And what's wrong with that? You don't have to love it. You don't have to trust it even. But why not follow it? It's a good story. And it's bringing us together in a lot of ways. Coincidence after coincidence. Yeah, it seems like there has been, hasn't there? I mean, how many resignations do we have to see? How many arrests do we have to see? Now, to be fair, there are some arrests that I would really, really like to see. Not just on TV. I want to see them. I want to verify them. I think you all know what we're talking about. You know what I mean? But look, we're seeing a lot of stuff happening. And we're seeing a lot of interesting things happening. And it's coming at a mile a minute. Have you ever seen so much news come at once? Growth due to confirmations. Yeah, Q's growing. And Q's growing because of the actions that are surrounding Q. Not because Q's so compelling on 8chan. Real sources communicating with the people. Imagine that. Imagine that. You and I having a talk. Folks, you may not even like me. You might think my voice drives you nuts. You might think I got kind of a big nose, in full disclosure. Whatever. There might be something you don't like about, but at least we can talk. And you don't have to agree with me. You can call me a knucklehead. You can say I don't know what I'm talking about. Cool. Talk to me. Talk to each other. I picture back in whether it's the French Revolution or the American Revolution or whatever, you think these bars and pubs were full of people that were sitting around tables agreeing? No, they were vehemently discussing and arguing and trying to figure out what they were going to do to put this country together. And you can argue whether or not how all those principles that founded our nation were how should I say, noble principles or not. But the fact of the matter is it took a lot of bravery for those people. And it took a lot of arguing and it took a lot of discourse. But eventually they figured it out. They made it happen. And we can do that together, unrestricted, together. And Q goes on to say, control the information. It's got they in brackets, or they in parentheses, harness followers, profiteering, they. And I think Q is saying that they're not trying to control the information, but there are some people that are. Harness some followers and make some money off of them. Well, it's your choice whether you want to give them the money or not, I guess. But there are people out there to do it, and I guess we got to be careful with that. Define media. I think media is the plural of medium. I don't know the exact definition, but primary goal of the media, I would say to set a narrative, to tell a story or to paint a picture or to kind of tell a story where you're not able to tell it with your own mouth. Q says to sell, each selling a different narrative. Yeah, we all got one, don't we? I mean, I'm guilty of it, right? How can I read these Q posts and not give you little elements of opinion and conjecture? How can you not? How can you not? There's so much going on. And we've all got something different to say. And we can all borrow a little bit from each other. But some of them had a set of targets. Some people had a set of targets. Some people were going after some other people. And I guess that's kind of what it stops becoming free speech. You start impeding on someone else's speech. And that's not okay. And again, please, I don't want to get into this too much. I have a lot of respect for some of these people that we're talking about. Selling makes money. Selling does make money. Hard work makes money. Ideas make money. Lots of things can make money. You can make money doing a lot of things. And selling something to make money isn't so bad. But I suppose when we're talking about this sort of movement, it's not really about that, is it? And I think we all should be careful. And I know myself included, this message is much more important than the messenger themselves. And I feel like together we're creating something really pretty incredible that years from now we may look back on really fondly. But we got to be careful who we follow. Q says to define patriot. Well, they did already. Let's do it. Let's do it again. Post 1328 right here. Patriot. A person who loves, supports, and defends his or her country and its interests with devotion. That could be a patriot anywhere. Incidentally, I'd like to give a shout out to my boy, Tommy Robinson, out there in the UK doing his thing. Talking loudly when there's a lot of people trying to shut him up. A person who regards himself or herself as a defender, especially of individual rights against presumed interference by the federal government. Yeah, look, government can be a great thing, but it's our government. And it's got to go the way that we decide. And we got to take it back. In my opinion, from a local level. That's where it starts. That's where we can control it. And make sure that the people that are getting into Washington, the people that we sent, and the people that we voted on, and if they don't do what they're supposed to do, we take them right out and we put it in a system of checks and balances. It was already there. They tried to tear it all apart. A lot of people tried to rip it all apart. Individual rights is the big one, guys. It's your right to do whatever you like. You want to love, you hate. You want to love, you want black or white. You want chocolate or vanilla. You want big or small. It's all your choice. Individual rights to say what you want to say, to feel how you want to feel, to worship whichever God you want to worship, wear whatever you want. Just don't tread on me. All right, let's move on. Q says they want you divided. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, look, right now we have a lot of different people feeling a lot of different things, and everybody's kind of starting to act out, and they act out by all kinds of ways. Some people act out in violence, and some people act out verbally, and some people act out emotionally, and some people cry, and some people get angry, and whatever. And there's a lot of people who are saying they just want the truth, and yet all they're doing is just attacking someone else. I don't think there's as much malintent as there seems to be perceived, but we're all trying to take down a deep state here. We're not trying to take down each other. We don't need to be divided. So how about this? Let's say you got this group over here and they don't trust what's going on with the president or Q. And you got some people over here that kind of trust what's going on with the president, but they're not really sure, and they're not really sure about Q. And you got all these people that are kind of in between. Well, now let's say they want to roll up next week and install some 5G towers in your neighborhood. I'll bet you we could all come together real quick. We're not trying to get our tummies roasted from the inside out like we're a bunch of Pop-Tarts. We'll come together real quick. War does that to you too, folks. You might not like that cat standing next to you. You might not agree with that cat standing next to you. But as soon as bullets are coming from the other side, that cat'll do. Anybody'll do. I'm your buddy, folks. Just doing my best. Attacks will only get worse. Yeah, it's gonna ramp up. It's gonna ramp up. We're watching it already. Let's all take a deep breath. Stay focused. I'm gonna move on. Next post, 1340. This is why we're here, and it takes you to this Reddit article. And I'm not going to read it for you because it's long, and to be honest with you, it's none of my business. But I'll sum it up kind of a little bit. Here's the title: The Long and Secret Info Wars Against Q and How He Stayed Alive. You really need to know this and move on regarding the Great Awakening. Okay, well, I'm not meaning to be dismissive of this, but it's not my business, okay? But it's featuring Dr. Corsi, Alex Jones, Roger Stone, and a young man by the name of Jordan Sather. And his channel is called Destroy the Illusion. Okay, and now I don't want to get into this way much for a couple reasons, but look, I know the story. We all kind of know what happened. We've been talking about this for a few days, and if you don't, of course, you can read this article, and it's going to tell you all about it. And if you want to follow up with more links, this guy did a really good job of putting a lot of hyperlinks in here and stuff, so you can find out anything that you want to know. But it's none of my business. And I want to tell you something about Alex Jones, just really quickly, is that this man was around when nobody was saying anything about 9/11. And I will always respect him for that. Now, wherever Alex Jones is right now is his own deal. And I have my own thoughts. But it's conjecture. And it's obvious conjecture, and I don't want to do that. But I thank Alex Jones for encouraging me to move forward. As you see, I wasn't always with In Pursuit of Truth. It was a different name. You may have remembered me or not. But I've been around doing this since a long time, since 2001. And it was harder then. So let's not get divided. Let's let it be what it was, okay? And this young man, Jordan Sather, I've seen his videos a few times. They don't say anything bad in this article about him, okay? He seems like a really great guy. Seems like a nice kid, real well-spoken, nice young man. He used to do these fun little videos. I remember when I watched him, he used this little white whiteboard, and it just seems very charming. And what can I say? Good on him. You know, the guy's got cojones to put up a channel and do what he thinks is right. And I got nothing but respect for that. So cheers to you, young man. And, you know, of course, I don't know Dr. Corsi. I just don't. I don't know Dr. Corsi. Don't really follow Dr. Corsi much. Heard him before or whatever. Anyway, it doesn't matter. None of this is my business. It's here for you. Okay? If you want to know the story, great. I'm interested in moving forward. And if you love me or hate me and you're interested in moving forward, you're welcome. You're welcome here anytime. Let's keep moving forward. Those are your Q posts. If anything comes up, I will do my best to get on there as soon as possible. As always, if you like this video, please click like, share, and subscribe. Please keep in mind to my new users that YouTube is being a little difficult. So if you're subscribing and you're not hearing from me probably within 24 to 48 hours, you might want to just go ahead and check back and search In Pursuit of Truth. Oftentimes you are clicked unsubscribed, and that little bell that you click for notifications also gets unclicked. It's like magic, but just like magic, you can click it back on again too. All right, that's all I got for you today. As usual, stay sane, stay compassionate, stay focused, stay patriotic.